Hello, I'm Dr. Will Boyd, the pastor of St. Mark Missionary Baptist Church and the presiding bishop of Zion Ministries. Thank you so much for joining me today as I talk about the book of Exodus, specifically Exodus chapter 36. Last week we talked about Exodus 35. I mentioned willing, wise, stirred up, and gifted people. Today I want to talk about people, presence, and portability. Well, as we go into the book of Exodus, again, Exodus 36 to be exact, we're going to see that Moses has commenced the assembling of the tabernacle, God's movable temple, if you would, God's movable worship center, the church that is on the move for God's people to be able to worship Him no matter where they were geographically. First of all, we find that there are exciting and engaging people in the name of Betzalel and Aholiab. These two individuals have powerful names that I mentioned last week. One means under the shadow of God, which indicates to us that as His Spirit, God's Spirit that is upon this individual, he is just used mightily. You know from last week's lesson in Exodus 36 that this individual was so blessed as God put His Spirit upon him and gifted him to where he not only had the ability to do all sorts of things that related to craftsmanship, but he had the ability to teach what he knew as well. His assistant had the powers and the abilities to help him in this work. So it's a great thing for God to move you out of the shadows and put you on the forefront in leadership to help others move towards their promised lands. Beyond these exciting and engaging individuals, these people that God anointed, appointed, put His Spirit upon, we find there were also ecstatic people. There were givers in the midst who were so excited about the preparation of the tabernacle that they freely gave out of their abundance. They gave until there was superabundance. In other words, Moses had to, in Exodus 36, tell the congregation, the host of God's people, you don't need to give anymore. We've received so much that we have to stop the giving. Wouldn't that be amazing? If we had to halt our building programs, if we didn't need another capital campaign, if we didn't need to raise any more money, take up another offering, because the church coffers, the church bank accounts were so full that we had to say we have more than enough because of the superabundance. Well, we talked about the people, let's talk about God's presence. If you look at the tabernacle and you look at Exodus 26 alongside even Exodus 36, you find almost the same exact descriptions of what needed to be constructed. You find linens and veils and staffs and sockets all mentioned. But what you continuously see throughout this book of Exodus as it relates to the tabernacle is that God wanted the people to know that He was present with them. That's right, an omnipresent God wanted to demonstrate that He had a presence no matter where they were with them. Well, after we learn about the people and God's presence, we want to talk about portability. I have a Bible in my hands, and I have some very large, heavy Bibles that I carry with me a lot of places, keep in different offices. But I love the portability of my phone. Believe it or not, on this smartphone, I have almost every book in my libraries contained. That's right, on this portable device that I'm holding in my hand right now, not only do I have this Bible, but I have almost every book in every library that I have. And I can pull out this portable device and read anywhere I want because, again, it's portable. How does that relate to the tabernacle? Well, God designed the tabernacle so that it could be portable. In other words, it would be assembled when the people of God arrived at a location, disassembled when it was time to move on to another. Assembled again when they arrived at another stop, disassembled when it was time to move on. What does that mean for me and for you today? Well, it, in contemporary terms, can remind us that God is not limited to one stationary location. God can be with us in our homes. God can be with us on our jobs. God can be with us as we travel and go in different places. Wherever we are, there He is also. That's portability. But it also should remind us that we need to be ready to move on a moment's notice. When the Spirit of God leads us, when God tells us to move, when God tells us time to move or shift to another level, operate in another capacity, we ought to be ready and willing to be portable and to go wherever God wants us to go. Well, may God bless you as you look at the people, the presence, and the portability in Exodus 36. I pray you'll join me next week as I discuss Exodus 37. May God bless you.